So we're just under 2 months into Edge of Fate and this new era of the game. And I don't know, just kind of want to talk about where we're at right now. Things are hitting a bit different post first impressions, as they tend to do. So I just want to talk at you for a little bit, all right? How am I feeling about the game right now? Not great. I really do not have that much enthusiasm for the game at the moment, and judging by my viewership, neither do many of you. I've definitely noticed the lack of the seasonal content and or seasonal cadences recently. Edge of Fate's seasonal activity is only around every so often. It's the Civ, in case you didn't know. And it's not anything very remarkable in terms of an activity. It is fine. I've barely touched it. It gives some nice stuff every once in a while, sure, but the activity itself is fine. Why there is not some sort of a timer just on the main portal page, I will never know. And the past year, I mean really like for a while, but past year, we had a lot of activities come to the game, even if they weren't the most revolutionary pieces of content, right? 3 new battlegrounds, a couple of unique activities with Episode 1, and Tomb of Elders, and the Nether, etc., etc. So when new seasons come out, at least we were playing in the new content, and we were doing things that felt new or participating in the new stuff in order to progress, get our progression, right? Edge of Fate, on the other hand, was very self-contained, but could also be completely ignored as far as the leveling and grind experience goes, because the portal and a bunch of the other parts of the game are free, so they need to let people play the game without owning Edge of Fate, right? And I knew that going into Edge of Fate that we weren't going to be getting as much pure content because of all the reworks, but I didn't realize how that was going to hit until it actually released. Now that we're this far, I can say that it's not hitting in a good way, and I'm hoping that Renegades gives a bit more of a seasonal content drop kind of feeling to incentivize me to participate with the newest content in the game. Because right now, the game is the portal, for better or worse, which is entirely non-new stuff if you have been playing. So it feels like not much has changed, like 2 months in, right? Ash and Iron, the mid-season update, got a new activity called Reclaim added, which is essentially Overthrow from the Pale Heart, but it's in the Plague Lands. And it's fine. It's not anything super insane content-wise, so it'll probably just get mixed in with everything else. Not only that, but when we were in the seasonal model, we had reasons to go around to different locations and physically move around in the universe that was available to us. I'm not going to pretend that most of my time was spent doing that, though. You know, most of my time was spent in the director menu, hitting the GM playlist, or finding a raid, or sitting in the tower, right? But there were still times where I went to actual places to do actual things, and now it's mainly the portal. It's almost too streamlined. That's killed a little bit of the vibe for me, like not a ton, but a little bit. But I know it's killed the vibe much more for many of you out there listening. I know Bungie has said that they're working to bring back the utility of the director menu, and I realize that it is basically impermeable for a new player to figure out or navigate without some sort of onboarding, but it was still a pretty significant part of the day-to-day Destiny experience and made the universe feel large or significant. Again, not that torn up about it, but even some kind of middle ground of having the portal be some sort of social hangout space might go a long way, where at least you're seeing some other people. I'm not saying we need to go back to physically running to the activities we want to run, like I'm doing Shattered Throne back in Forsaken, but somewhere in the middle, you know, could be nice. I'm not really too sure what the end game is or is supposed to be for Destiny right now, other than, I guess, feated raids, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feats on a raid. Ash and Iron raised the cap to 550, but the first day of the update featured a lot of confusion about what is intended and what is not intended. People at the old cap of 450 were reporting that they needed to push activities to like 60 levels, 70 levels above them just to get a +1 drop in a slot, which is insanely not worth it at all for the intent of leveling. Even before this update, I wasn't in a huge hurry to participate in the level grind because my gear at tier 4 is already pretty good for the time and the effort that it took, and I am basically clearing all content in the game anyway. And most, if not all of my friends who are farther along than I am have expressed no desire to hit up any of this. A problem, like what feels like happens with most big patches, is that no one knows the level of intent with these changes. No one knows if what's happening is the intended thing or if it's bugged. Bungie posted 8 hours after the patch that they're looking into what's going on with leveling. I don't know if they've said anything since. I don't think they have. It just keeps happening, man. I just want a patch where I can feel confident in reporting on what's actually happening. But this stuff happens so often that I wait like 2 to 5 days for Bungie to figure out their mess and then report on it. But then by the time I end up reporting on it and it's all fixed or like acknowledged that the fixes are coming, everyone's made up their minds anyway. Like it's infuriating. It's infuriating. I thought that with the update, leveling from 400 to 500 would be pretty similar to leveling from 200 to 400. Like they just expand the band out a little bit, right? And then going from 500 to 550 would be slightly easier than going from 400 to 450 because of the improvements that Bungie was going to make to leveling. And that does not appear to be the case right now. And even if it were the case, I would still not be in a massive hurry to level. But that's the intent of the system, right? Just level until you feel comfortable with what you have or your time constraints or whatever. The problem is that leveling feels like the only thing the game has to entertain you from a progression standpoint. I will give a small amount of props. The raids finally drop in gear that progresses your power. Should have been like that from the start. But it's broken right now. It's once per week per account. And I'm going to say that it's broken right now because no one in their right mind at Bungie should be thinking that once per week per account is an acceptable way to fix the loot problem in the raid. Which all of that, plays very nicely with the previous paragraph, right? Should the raid be repeatable in that it gives you power every single time? The portal's repeatable. That's literally the point of it. Could the raid not also be like that? Because for me, like 3 and 4 feet raiding is a much more enjoyable experience than anything in the portal when I'm this far along in the leveling process. I think what this whole experience has taught me, taught someone, I don't know, what it's taught is that even if you say to people that hitting max level isn't really the main goal and it's just to get as far as you can, people still want to hit max level because it's what we've known as part of the Destiny experience this whole time, on top of the fact that leveling is literally the entire game. It's like a psychological thing. Leveling should probably remain a more chill experience, a more maybe time investment focus, while getting these tier 4, tier 5 drops, high tier drops, should be more of a skill focus. But even then, one drop at the end of some of these higher difficulty modes that take a lot of time and effort, just like that needs to be fixed. Like, yeah, a strike is going to take 10 to 15 minutes when you're at 238 power and your modifier is grenades do 8,000% more damage. But when you scale up to Grandmaster and you need to fight at these higher levels and the content takes 2 to 3 times, maybe sometimes even 4 times the amount of time to complete, it feels terrible to get one drop that gives you 1 or 2 power. But the game still assumes that the activity is like 10 to 15 minutes long, so Fireteam Ops, for example, is scaled to like Fireteam Ops itself and like everything in that category at their base difficulty and not the difficulties that you can adjust these activities to. Double it, triple it, quadruple it, dump loot on people, speed up the process, shower people in gear. I know we got vault problems. Who cares? Make it more worth cranking up the difficulty at higher levels. Make it worth running the portal. Even raid loot. We got 2 drops on the first clear of the week now. Make it 3. Make it 2 on every other. Just make it 3. Whatever. I'm fine with like tier being tied to like feats though. That's fine. Look at Solstice, man. You made it rain on everyone with the gear and the bonus tiers and all that. And look how stoked everybody was. And then you just buff up some fire team ops activities in terms of the drops and like make sure the scaling is actually scaling properly, man. That should probably just be the norm at this point in terms of the total drops, like Solstice. Because right now, unironically, I'd rather be playing Destiny Rising. Like, I know it's a brand new game and like that's kind of interesting. I would still rather be on Destiny Rising. I've probably spent more time on Destiny Rising since Rising has come out than I have on Destiny 2. On a completely different note, when it comes to the whole Pete Parsons stepping down thing, I don't have much value to offer in that conversation because I don't know the true impact of such a thing happening. You know, I know Justin Truman. I've done feedback sessions with him before and like capture events. He's a nice guy. But otherwise, I don't know enough about how much the studio head can impact the game in like a positive direction. I don't know enough is just really what it comes down to, other than the optics of guy who fired a bunch of people and then spent way too much money on cars is leaving Bungie, giving the feeling of relief. Of course, you know, that didn't stop a bunch of the discussion of the over-delivery talks given at GDC, however many years ago it's been now, which everyone loves to bring up, even though no one really gets the context of that talk correctly, and there's zero chance to actually remedy that anymore. I'm sure people have already run wild and think, you know, Justin Truman's Satan or whatever, so I'm not even going to try there. I'm interested to see if and or how much the game changes with him at the helm, but those are going to be things that happen over the course of years, not like the next expansion or even the expansion after that. I've heard more good than bad from my peers in the industry, but what it'll truly mean for the game, no clue. I don't have much else to say because I'm not educated or informed enough to give more of a take than that. What else, man? Boy, I don't know. Destiny Rising. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. I've actually been playing a fair amount. As I just said, I beat the campaign. I did the raid. I think my feelings on the game are about the same as they were in the alpha, which is, you know, for what it is, which is mobile Destiny, did a pretty good job. You know, it just happens to be a gacha game, which is really not going to resonate with a lot of people at all. Especially in the Destiny community. Like, I feel like gacha and Destiny, like, don't mix literally whatsoever in terms of the community sentiment. It's just kind of the nature of these mobile games right now. I've spent no money on the game, and the most I plan on doing is buying the Battle Pass, Season Pass, whatever it's called. After seeing how much, you know, it costs for an individual pull of a character, I do not see myself paying for a lot of stuff in that game. I'm considering making some content on it, but seeing as I missed the opening weekend for my clan's 10th anniversary party and like event weekend, I feel like I'm already very behind and therefore probably too late to the party for a lot of things, but you know, we'll see. It's kept my attention though, because I don't have any goals on Destiny 2 right now, and this is a fresh game with a fresh start, and I've been enjoying my time on it despite some not so great revelations that have been discovered with the game. I think something that it's done well, that Destiny can learn from, is giving a greater community or MMO feeling in the game by having features that aren't really like super gameplay or progression focused. Like they got clan housing, they got sparrow racing and fishing and a card game, stuff that makes an MMO space feel a little more complete. I realized, like, yeah, Destiny used to have fishing as part of Season of the Deep, but it got removed because it was technically seasonal content, and, like, fishing's a pretty divisive activity because you either love it or you hate it, but it's not a mandatory part of the game. I know all the nuance and blah, 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 but it's things like that, the silly or, like, the non-consequential things that can make a game feel more than its base component. And we have some stuff adjacent to that in Destiny, like Heavy Metal or Team Scorched. But you look at other MMO experiences, and they have all these kinds of things in their game just as like little side projects, side progression, whatever you want to call it. And Destiny doesn't have that, like, almost at all. The game right now is just, it's leveling. The gameplay is fine. Like, the raw moment-to-moment gameplay is fine, but the game is leveling. And the game has never really reached a level of stability that it is needed, or a level of happiness in the player base that it's needed, where Bungie could be like, hey, let's do this like weird thing for fun, or let's like add this feature for fun. Or maybe there's some other reasons that I'm just not aware of. I don't know, like someone's probably going to hit me with some technical jargon in a future capture event or something, whatever. But like, For a company like Bungie to constantly spout about community and playing together and playing with friends and link up with their friends and boop-a-doo and all that kind of stuff, why does Destiny Rising do clan support way better than anything Destiny has ever done for clans? Like, it's not close, man. And it's not like the clan features in Destiny Rising are anything insane, but it's way more than anything Destiny's done. Why is the clan feature so barren in this game? Why does Bungie not want to embrace any sort of MMO social features in this game after 11 years? And I'm not even saying this is a priority, by the way. You can't really introduce clan housing when the game's on fire. I get it. But, like, there hasn't even been an attempt to do anything to clans at all. And, like, all you talk about is friends and playing with friends and playing together, and the game's the best when you play with people. Content-wise, I just have had, like, zero ambition for anything in particular other than, like, some build crafting content and keeping up with the news, and I barely even want to keep up with the news because it usually ends up being bad and everyone's mad, and it's just... I don't really have many things to have opinions on right now. I know that's what a lot of people come to me for, but I fear that my apathy is... getting the better of me, which you could argue that's worse than frustration, right? I'm sorry that I just haven't had that much to discuss, but I haven't really been inspired. I haven't really been motivated. I haven't been in a good mental place for the past couple of months. Like, I had some personal setbacks outside of Destiny and work that have affected my ability to make content in the way that I want to. I've also had an incredibly busy 2 months filled with constant starting and stopping of content due to events and travel. Like, I would catch up on all the videos that I need to make, and then something happens and I fall behind, and then I catch back up, and then something happens and I fall behind, and so that really exhausted me. That's finally come to a close, so I'm looking to get stable again. I'm not trying to, excuse it. I'm just telling you what happened. It's like there's been an earthquake under my feet for like 2 months, and it just stopped. On top of all that, obviously community sentiment is down horrific right now, right? And we get in this vicious cycle of, like, Bungie does a thing, and then the community doesn't like that thing, or the thing didn't work out, and then Bungie's got to go back, and they put their thing down, and they flip it and reverse it, and then the community's mad that they had to resort to this in the first place. It's just, like, exhausting. It's just such a waste of, like, effort and time and work to do all this stuff, and then you just undo all of it. And, like, I know we're in a terrible... Here's how I know we're in a terrible spot, okay? It's like when Bungie actually does something good, like Solstice, giving bonus tiered loot, and, like, everyone's happy with Solstice, and, like, giving away a bunch of items. And people go conspiracy theory mode, where they claim that Bungie didn't even mean to do all that, and they're just trying to save face and pretend that, this was the plan all along. No, there's no way that Bungie could actually do that. Even when something does go right, and a thing happens that people almost universally like, it's still suspect. Like, that's not good, man. That's not good. Even they did something good, and they can't even get a win. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we get to a better place at some point soon. I'm not sure it's going to be in this season or this, like, expansion cycle. Maybe Renegades, I think, is the earliest. But I think it's going to be a tough couple months here. Let me know how you're feeling. Try to keep it civil. Just try. Okay? Just for me. Okay? Try. Thank you for listening. Thank you for letting me talk at you. And I'll see you next time.